Hi, this is Harrison Page. You're listening to TV Confidential.
Ed Robertson with a reminder that we'll play part 2 of our conversation with Paul Myers, author of John Candy, A Life in Comedy, later on in this hour. We hope you'll stay tuned for that. In the meantime, Emmy Award-winning writer, producer, and director Joseph Dougherty is with us via Zoom, along with Tony Figueroa and Dan Farren, as we continue our look at some of our favorite local TV horror movie hosts of yesteryear. A staple of television throughout the 60s, 70s, and early 1980s that, for many of us, were an indelible part of our growing up years. As we pick up the conversation, part of the appeal of watching local TV horror movie hosts was that in many cases, it marked the first time that many of us were allowed to stay up that late and watch television, even if we were watching by ourselves. Joe?
That was the other forbidden aspect of it. I grew up on Long Island, and many was the Saturday night that I was desperately trying to get the rabbit ears to tune in so I could kind of watch from a Connecticut station through a snowstorm.
Yeah.
But that's it. You had to look for them. You had to try and find them.
Yeah.
You valued this thing that was considered disposable. Worse than disposable. Should never have been done. The bottom half of a bill, which was great because they were only an hour and 6 minutes long. And it's interesting. I mean, like, the tradition continues. I don't think I would have written a science fiction novel if I hadn't wasted so much time as a child watching these movies.
That novel being The Third Cylinder, available now through Fayetteville Mafia Press as well as Amazon.com.
There are probably people who have never seen a horror host who are devotees of Mystery Science Theater 3000 and have no idea of the genetic material that's at work in a show which, it's 30 years of MST in one form or another. And I stumbled on a show that wanted to be really good and just managed to be good. Anybody here ever hear of a thing called Horror Incorporated? It was in Minneapolis. It was in Minneapolis from like 2003 to 2004. They're on YouTube. Look up Horror Incorporated. You'll either see they're working really hard, maybe a little too hard, but they are.
Well, I do think it's the kind of thing that, again, capturing that lightning in a bottle at this point. Maybe because people think, oh, well, the audiences are too sophisticated for that. No, audiences want to just be entertained.
Yeah.
And you can do that. I mean, YouTube has tried to do it. People have taken public domain films and tried to do that. Svengoolie is still out there swinging, man.
Yeah, she is.
Just doing that. I mean, when Elvira came out, she had to reinvent kind of what they did to do it a little differently because, again, we were talking about Seymour. The thing that Seymour did that was nobody else was doing was he would put himself in the movie. He would, using blue screen and whatever, he would. So like when you went to the scene from Dracula where they're all at the opera, Seymour's sitting in the next one over from Dracula with opera glasses watching what's going on or whatever.
There were moments. Those are the things I remember. I mean, it's almost a Marx Brothers thing when you fool around with content like that. I will probably, on my deathbed, remember watching the Beast from the Ocean Floor on Zachary. And they're looking at, and the scientist and his girlfriend are on the boat, and he says, I've got a sample here. I'll put it in the microscope. And he puts it in the microscope, and he says, here, take a look at this. See what I found underneath the water. And she looks in, and the cutaway was to Zachary with a round iris around his face, sticking his tongue out. This is the joke I'll remember on my deathbed. It was so unrepentant silliness.
Well, yeah. Svengoolie used to do that, and then he stopped. Because people wanted to see the movie.
He's gotten a little more serious about it, but but to go back to the MST thing, is it's sheared off into a couple of different places, and the Riff Track guys, their live shows are terrific, and I'll put a plug in this, if you want to have a really damn good time, is Trace Trace Beaulieu and Frank Conniff now do The Mads riffing as a monthly show that's downloadable from Dumb Industries, and they do their show on Tuesday because they refuse to do it on Saturday because they don't want to miss Svengoolie.
Yeah. Well, you can see the DNA of some of this stuff. I mean, Dark Corners, which Joe got Mary Lou and I hooked on, is occasionally we'll have little bursts of that, especially in the when they review the bad films or whatever. So I mean, it carries on a little bit. And oh, by the way, Joe, you're the one responsible for Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, right?
I thought I was. No, somebody else recommended. I don't think I'm the one who recommended it. The last time I recommended it's a wonderful show. It's Dark Corners of my Twisted World. I think it comes out of England. It's on YouTube. Go watch, subscribe. They're tremendous, and they use and they're financing really good film documentaries by doing these dopey movies.
And when they're funny when they need to be funny, and they're very serious when they need to be serious. I mean, you can learn a lot from that stuff. No, I mean,
no. The one I want. The joke was basically as I recommended. I suggested a movie to Robin in the show, and he said, "We looked at it. It's too good." Well, I'd let him down some way.
Yeah, no, we bring up Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things because actually Mary Lou was friends with one of the women in that for several years. They were in acting classes together.
That's a terrible movie. It's just, and Bob Clark directed it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
I think Bob Clark wrote it, and then I think the lead actor directed it maybe, but it hurts. Yeah.
It's
Or as they said on MSD, deep hurting. That's what it always was.
Say what?
Didn't they used to say deep hurting? Are you ready? You can stand by.
Deep hurting, yeah. Hurting. That was they usually save that for Samson movies.
Exactly.
But he's like, it's hard to make fun of bad movies when they cost $250 million.
Yeah.
You know, my attitude is basically I've seen a Marvel movie and it's reasonably all right until somebody forgets the rules of physics and then the dancing rhinoceroses show up.
Yeah. Well, it's like I always laugh because, you remember that Ed Wood was friends with Vampira and people like that back in the old days there. The thing about Ed Wood, I always say to people, is that Ed Wood didn't go out to make a bad movie.
Nobody goes out to make a bad movie, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Michael Bay.
There's a tendency to trying to be a little too nuanced with certain things, and you can only certain people can carry that off. But when I look at the Ed Wood thing, Ed just can't wait to make his next movie. He just thinks it's going to be the greatest thing in the entire world.
I mean, it's either the two guys who wrote the Tim Burton movie, who wrote the Ed Wood movie, wrote the Dolomite movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And frankly, the Dolomite movie is Ed Wood with an all-black cast.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's great. And because it's like basically, oh no, did you see that part? Did you see that part? It's like it's but like now it's like I think science fiction movie special effects ended their interest for me when they stopped using piano wire. And I can pinpoint when it happened. It happened in 1986. Because if you look at Aliens, he's still flying ships on wires. And they just feel real. They've got physics to them. They've got weight. And he's, and after that, with the exception of a movie nobody talks about, but I really like, The Last Starfighter, which embraced computer-generated images in an entirely different way. They said, yes, you'll hear things, but this is actually a movie in zero gravity.
Yeah.
And
I love Robert Preston in that movie. Robert Preston's wonderful. He's still selling
it's a wonderful movie, and there's a great Blu-ray of it right now.
Yeah.
And I think, if I'm remembering, the guy who wrote the script, he wrote as a spec script, and what occurred to him was, Sword in the Stone. I wonder what that would be like.
There's also a great Blu-ray of Robot Monster, which is the type of movie that would be shown on the local horror movie show back in the 70s. And there's a 70th anniversary restoration in 3D of Robot Monster.
What could you possibly restore?
No.
It is if I can at least finish the plug. It's available exclusively distributed Bayview Entertainment, available Amazon.com, wherever fine Blu-rays are available.
But is it 3D like Anaglyphic, or is it 3D in some other way?
It's Anaglyph 3D, or available 2D if you don't have the 3D capability.
Well, you can get those.
But no,
you know what? I'll tell you. I mean, I got nothing to do with it, but there's a spectacular Blu-ray of Invaders from Mars.
Yes.
Also 1953.
Now,
and he's reaching over to the shelf.
Was Robot Monster shown on Zachary in 3D, and everybody had to go to 7-Eleven to get their?
No.
That wasn't it.
They pulled it.
No, that wasn't
a couple. Yeah.
They've done it, but Ed, I'll tell you. I was at Monsterpalooza and at another show, and we met the young man who played the little boy in that, who's been out selling that all around the place. And we talked for a while. He's a very nice man. I can't think of his name now, but very nice man. And then we saw him again, like another convention later. I said, "Hey, you're still out there?" And he goes, "You got to do what you got to do."
But here's so what? He's 8 years old in the movie, and he probably got like $100 that his parents never gave him.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna do this. Because Lord.
No, I think the 3D movie you're thinking of is when Elvira did House of Wax, which was a big thing.
Oh, Vincent Price.
Yeah. You went to the 7-Eleven and you bought the glasses.
Because when I was
either bought the glasses or you bought the beer.
Yeah,
you could either get the 3D glasses or the beer goggles. They were both effective.
When I lived in Puerto Rico during my high school years, we got cable, I remember, in 1979. And first we had the Superstation, WTBS, and then we got WWOR. And that's the first time I saw Zachary. Yeah. And I remember there was a big thing about a 3D movie, and everybody had to go and get the. And that's when they
Count
first
Floyd
realized.
Count Floyd was selling those 3D movies, too.
Yeah. And I remember, I think that must have, when WWOR became a superstation, and people saw it from all over the place. And shortly after that, Zachary appeared on Saturday Night Live. So this was the Dick Ebersol era. And he introduced a sketch, there was a horror movie in black and white. But he was at home base, and the coffin was there. They come in from commercial. There's a coffin on, and the coffin lid opens, and it's Zachary.
Yeah.
And the audience went nuts, he didn't have
he had a nice little renaissance around that time. I remember seeing him on Tom Snyder's show, and I think he was doing a FM DJ stint in New York City.
Yeah, because he was a DJ when he was doing that. Yeah.
But when WWOR became a superstation, I think the entire country was introduced to Crazy Eddie, those commercials. And, just so all of these personalities that you had growing up, they were
Tony?
all... What?
Tony, if you're interested in Crazy Eddie, read a book called Retail Gangster. It's really, really good. And it tells you it was a much more like the Mafia going behind Crazy Eddie the entire time and stuff was going on. It's a really, really good book.
But remember the first time I saw the movie Splash in a theater? And there is a moment where, the Daryl Hannah's character is channel surfing. Mm-hmm. And one of the commercials you see is Crazy Eddie. And I saw that movie in Lake Tahoe, and people went nuts because everybody across the country now, every time I talk, people go nuts. But everybody already knew who this local talent was. And, Seymour even appeared in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah, because his daughter has the rights and was able to, big Quentin Tarantino thing with that.
Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back. One more item. If you're starting a company, particularly one that is in an emerging market, you know that averting any sort of legal dispute is crucial to your business plan. Our friends at Tectonic Law offer an array of services that can help you avoid and preempt future litigation while also developing and protecting your intellectual property and intangible assets. Tectonic Law serves the needs of a host of emerging industries throughout California and beyond, including industrial designers, beverage makers, artists, farmers, retail stores, health practitioners, wellness experts, cosmetics manufacturers, nonprofit organizations, innovators in sustainable practices, and libraries. Go to tectoniclaw.com to learn more about how Tectonic Law can help your business thrive. tectoniclaw.com. Rock solid representation for groundbreaking industries.
This portion of TV Confidential is brought to us by our friends at Front Porch Realty, the community of realtors in the Northern Bay area of California that is committed to finding the solution that is best for their clients. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or looking to sell or lease your property in Northern California, call Karen Strain at 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com for more information on how they can help you.
Ed Robertson thanking you for listening to the TV Confidential podcast. If you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button so that you won't miss our next episode.
Holy interviews, Batman! Hi, this is Burt Ward, Robin from the TV series Batman. You're listening to TV Confidential. Wowie zowie! It's fantastic!
Welcome to Channel 2's version of Saturday Night Fever. And tonight, there will be a creature, get someone, because we've got a movie about devil worshippers. They're nasty people. When they want somebody, they really go after them. This is a low-budget film, like, you know, that's sort of repetitive with tonight's, the title of the show, Creature Features. But
Joseph Dougherty, Tony Figueroa, and Dan Farren are all with us via Zoom, talking about the unrepentant silliness, to borrow Joe's phrase, of local TV horror movie hosts, a staple of television for many of us throughout the 60s, 70s, and early 1980s that was an indelible part of our growing up years. Joseph Dougherty's books include The First Cylinder, Comfort and Joy, and Rod Serling at 100, all of which are available Fayetteville Mafia Press as well as Amazon.com. Joe?
I want to pitch my own show. I want to pitch my late night show. It's a simple, I'll do the elevator pitch for it if you want to hear it.
This is the Joe Dougherty Show.
Yeah. I want, we'll shoot it, we have to, I'm going to pitch you the concept because we have to find somebody to do it. I want the next horror host to be Carolyn Jones' sister, Morticia's sister from the Addams Family, Ophelia. I want to find a woman to do that character and put her in the Addams house and show movies.
Well, if we can get John Astin. John Astin's still around.
But I always thought Ophelia was crazy and hot.
The little daisies in her head.
Yes.
Yeah. And I do want to say just briefly again, this is sentimental for me. Late night or horror movie show host got me my very first national sale. I walked up to an actress named Cassandra Peterson at Groundlings one night and said, I'd like to do an article on you for Fangoria. Would you be interested in doing me interviewing you? And she said yes, and I submitted to them right when the 3D movie broke, so it was like going around the country. And that was my first national sale, my very first sale to a magazine. The very first time I got paid to write was that. And also, as Joe and Tony know, about 4 years ago, I went down to Long Beach to a horror convention, and she was appearing there, and it had been, like 30 years since that. And I got a picture taken with her and I holding the article.
Oh, cool.
So it's always, they not only did they make my soul feel better, they also put a few bucks in my pocket, so I can't complain about it.
Can enjoy Joe's latest novel, The First Cylinder, as well as Comfort and Joy and Rod Serling at 100, available right now, Fayetteville Mafia Press and Amazon.com. Joseph Dougherty, Tony Figueroa, Dan Farren, thank you as always for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
Always
This was fun.
We'll play part 2 of our conversation with Paul Myers, author of John Candy, A Life in Comedy, when we come back here on TV Confidential.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you use insulin or have had hypoglycemic events, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more.
800-432-8150. 800-432-8150. 800-432-8150. That's 800-432-8150.